Before we begin, just notice this. You made it here tonight, out of everything you could be doing, out of all the noise, all the pressure, all the unfinished thoughts still circling in your mind. You chose to come here, and that matters more than you realize, because something inside you, quietly, gently, is ready to heal. Not forcefully, not all at once, not by trying harder, but naturally, softly, while you sleep. So for the next few moments, you don't have to solve anything, you don't have to fix anything, you don't even have to understand everything you're feeling. You can simply be here, and if your mind is still a little busy, that's okay. If your body feels heavy or restless, that's okay too. Nothing about this moment needs to be perfect, because tonight, this space is not about perfection. It's about permission. Permission to rest. Permission to let go. Permission to begin healing without effort. And here's something gentle, but important to remember. You don't heal only when you're awake. Some of the deepest healing happens when you finally stop holding everything together, when your body softens, when your thoughts quiet, when your awareness drifts, your mind begins to reorganize, your emotions begin to release, your nervous system begins to repair. So even if you do nothing else tonight, even if you simply listen and drift and fade in and out, healing is already happening, quietly, naturally, effortlessly. So let this be the moment where you stop carrying the entire day with you. Let this be the moment where you don't need to be strong anymore. You can set it all down, just for now. And as you begin to settle, just gently bring your awareness to your breath. No need to change it, no need to control it. Just notice it, the soft rise and the gentle fall, and maybe, without forcing anything, you allow your next inhale to be just a little deeper, and your next exhale to be just a little slower. That's it, nothing complicated, just a quiet shift. And with every slow breath out, imagine you're releasing something small. A bit of tension, a bit of pressure, a bit of emotional weight. Not all at once, just a little at a time, because healing doesn't rush, it unfolds now. As your breathing begins to soften into its own natural rhythm, bring a gentle awareness to your body. Notice where you're resting. Feel the surface beneath you, supporting you, holding you, without asking anything in return. And just for a moment, allow yourself to fully receive that support. You don't have to hold yourself up right now. You don't have to stay alert. You don't have to stay guarded. You can lean into this moment and let it hold you. And as you do, you might begin to notice small areas of tightness, maybe in your shoulders, your jaw, your chest, your stomach, places where the day or maybe even older emotions have been quietly stored. There's nothing wrong with that. Your body has been doing its best to protect you. But tonight, you can gently begin to let that go, not by forcing it away, but by allowing it to soften. So bring your awareness to your shoulders and imagine them slowly dropping, loosening, releasing, as if a quiet weight is being lifted. Now your jaw unclenching, softening, your tongue resting easily, your face becoming calm, neutral, at ease. And as your body begins to relax, your mind may follow, not instantly, not perfectly, but gradually, like waves settling after a storm. Now imagine this. Above you, there is a soft, warm light, not bright, not overwhelming, just a gentle, comforting glow. And this light carries something important, a sense of safety, a sense of calm, a sense of quiet emotional healing. And very slowly, this light begins to drift down toward you, moving closer and closer until it gently reaches the top of your head. And as it touches you, you may begin to feel a subtle warmth, a soft sensation, like your mind is being gently soothed. This light doesn't force anything, it doesn't rush, it simply allows. And as it begins to spread across your head, your forehead, around your eyes, you might notice those small muscles, the ones that have been thinking, analyzing, holding tension, beginning to soften. Your thoughts don't need to disappear, they just begin to quiet on their own. And as this light continues, flowing slowly downward into your face, your jaw, your neck, it gently releases anything you've been holding there, any unspoken words, any swallowed emotions, any quiet stress. All of it begins to loosen and fade, not forced, just released. And with every breath out, you go a little deeper into this softness, this stillness, this space where healing happens naturally. Because right now, you are not trying to heal. You are allowing healing. And that makes all the difference. Now let that feeling continue. Down into your shoulders, melting away the weight you've been carrying, down into your chest, where emotions sometimes stay hidden, softening, opening, easing. And if there's anything there, anything unspoken, unprocessed, or heavy, you don't have to understand it. You don't have to fix it. You can simply let this moment hold it for you. Let your breath move through it, gently, patiently, like a quiet wave, washing it away. And as your body continues to relax, your mind begins to drift, your awareness becoming softer, wider, lighter, and you may begin to feel a sense of distance from the day behind you, like it's slowly fading, becoming less important, less heavy, less real. Because right now, this moment is all that matters, this space, this breath, this quiet unfolding. And as you continue to drift deeper, you may notice something subtle, a feeling that you are safe, that you are supported, that you don't have to carry everything alone anymore. And that feeling is where emotional healing begins, not in effort, not in struggle, but in safety, in softness, in surrender. So as you continue to listen, there's nothing you need to do, nothing you need to achieve. You don't even need to stay fully awake. You can drift, you can fade, you can let these words simply pass through you, reaching the deeper parts of your mind, the quiet places where real healing happens. And tonight, as you sleep, your mind will gently begin to release what it no longer needs. Your body will restore its natural balance. Your emotions will soften and reorganize in ways you don't need to control. All you have to do is allow yourself to rest, to soften, to let go, just a little more, with every breath, with every moment, with every word. And as you continue to drift deeper now, feel yourself being gently carried into a place of calm, a place of quiet, a place where healing is already unfolding, softly, naturally, effortlessly. Before anything else, just pause for a moment, not to do anything, not to change anything, just to notice that you are here, out of all the moments in your day, out of everything still unfinished, everything still waiting, everything still lingering quietly in the background of your mind. You arrived here, and that matters because there is a part of you, a quieter part, a deeper part that is ready to rest, not later, not when everything is perfect, but now. So for the next few moments, you don't have to hold everything together. You don't have to keep solving, fixing, figuring things out. You can set it all down, even if just a little, even if just for now. And as you begin to settle into this space, bring a soft awareness to your body, to the way you are lying or sitting, to the way the surface beneath you is already supporting you, without effort, without expectation, without asking anything in return. Just notice that you are being supported, and maybe you haven't felt that all day. Maybe you've been carrying more than usual, thoughts that kept repeating, feelings that didn't fully pass, conversations that stayed with you longer than they should. And even now, some of that might still be there. That's okay. You don't have to push it away. You don't have to clear your mind. You don't have to be perfectly relaxed to begin. You can arrive exactly as you are. And as you stay here, just gently bring your awareness to your breath, not to control it, not to force it, just to notice it, the natural rhythm, the quiet movement, the subtle rise and fall, and maybe, without trying too hard, you allow your next inhale to be just a little deeper, just a little fuller, and your next exhale, just a little slower, just a little softer. That's it, nothing complicated, just a small shift. And with each slow breath out, imagine that something inside you begins to loosen, not all at once, just a little at a time. Maybe it's a bit of tension in your shoulders. Maybe it's a quiet pressure in your chest. Maybe it's something you can't even name. You don't need to know what it is. You only need to allow it to soften. And as your breath continues, notice how your body begins to respond. Even in the smallest ways, your shoulders may begin to drop just slightly. Your jaw may loosen. Your forehead softens. The tiny muscles around your eyes begin to rest. And as these small areas begin to relax, your body starts to understand something important, that it doesn't have to stay alert right now, that it's safe to let go. And this sense of safety, it doesn't arrive all at once. It builds slowly, quietly, like a soft wave, spreading through you, from the top of your head, down into your neck, your shoulders, your arms, your chest, your back, your stomach, your hips, your legs, all the way down to your feet. And you don't have to guide it perfectly. Your body already knows how to do this. It remembers how to relax. It remembers how to rest. You're simply giving it permission. So take another slow breath in. And as you exhale, imagine that your body becomes just a little heavier, a little more supported, a little more settled. And as this heaviness gently increases, it's not uncomfortable, it's not restrictive, it's comforting, like being held, like being supported in a way you don't have to think about. And as your body settles deeper, your mind may still be moving, thoughts may still appear, drifting in and out. That's okay. You don't have to stop them. You don't have to follow them either. Just let them pass, like clouds moving across a quiet sky. Some thoughts may try to pull your attention. That's normal. But instead of engaging, just gently return to your breath, to your body, to this moment, again and again, without effort, without frustration, just returning. And slowly, very slowly, those thoughts begin to lose their intensity. They become softer, more distant, less important. And in their place, a quiet space begins to open, a space that feels calm, spacious, still. And as this stillness deepens, your awareness begins to shift from thinking to feeling, from doing to being. And in this space, there is nothing you need to prove, nothing you need to achieve, nothing you need to fix. You are allowed to rest here, fully. So let your body sink just a little deeper. Let your breath soften just a little more. Let your mind drift just a little further. And notice how this moment begins to feel different, quieter, slower, softer, as if the world around you is gently fading into the background, and all that remains is this calm, this stillness, this sense of being held. And as you continue to settle, you may begin to feel something subtle, something gentle, a quiet shift happening inside you, not dramatic, not overwhelming, just a soft unfolding, as if your body is remembering how to let go, as if your mind is remembering how to be still, as if your whole being is slowly returning to a natural state of rest. And you don't need to rush this. You don't need to deepen it. You don't need to do anything at all. Just allow it. Allow your body to soften. Allow your breath to guide you. Allow your mind to drift. And as you do, you move gently, effortlessly into the next layer of calm, the next layer of stillness, the next layer of quiet. And that breath becomes even slower, even softer, and that growing sense of safety within you begins to expand. And as your breath begins to slow, even just a little, you may notice something subtle shifting inside you, not something you need to search for, not something you need to create, but something that begins to reveal itself, naturally, quietly, as your body starts to trust this moment, because every slow inhale gently signals to your body that it can soften, and every long unhurried exhale whispers something even deeper, that it is safe to let go. So without forcing anything, allow your next breath to arrive slowly, filling your lungs just a little more fully, expanding your chest just a little more gently, and then let it go, long, soft, unrushed, as if the exhale itself is carrying away a small layer of tension, something you no longer need to hold on to. And with each breath like this, your body begins to understand something important, something it has always known but may have forgotten for a while, that it does not have to stay guarded. It does not have to stay tense. It does not have to keep preparing for something that isn't happening right now, because right now, in this moment, there is nothing you need to defend yourself from, nothing you need to brace against, nothing you need to control. And as this realization begins to settle, you may feel at first in small ways a softening in your chest, as if a quiet pressure is easing, a loosening in your stomach, as if something that was held tightly is beginning to unwind, a gentle release in your shoulders, as if a weight you didn't even notice is slowly being lifted. And you don't have to guide this process. You don't have to manage it. Your body already knows how to move towards safety. It only needs the space to remember. So just keep breathing slowly, softly, naturally. And as you do, begin to imagine something gentle. Imagine that with every inhale, you are drawing in a quiet sense of calm, like a soft, invisible wave, moving into your body, filling the spaces that once felt tense with something lighter, something steadier. And with every exhale, you are releasing anything that feels heavy, anything that feels unnecessary, anything that your body is ready to let go of, even if only just a little at a time. There is no rush, there is no pressure. This is not about letting everything go all at once. This is about allowing just enough for your body to begin to trust, that it can relax. And as that trust begins to grow, you may start to feel a quiet sense of safety expanding inside you. Not loud, not overwhelming, just a soft presence, a gentle feeling that begins somewhere deep within and slowly spreads outward. It might feel like warmth or stillness or simply the absence of tension. Whatever it is for you, just notice it and let it grow, because safety is not something you force, it's something you allow. And right now, you are allowing it. So let that feeling expand from your chest into your shoulders, down your arms, into your hands. Let it flow into your back, softening every muscle along your spine. Let it move into your stomach, your hips, your legs, all the way down to your feet, as if your entire body is being gently wrapped in a quiet sense of ease. And as this feeling spreads, your breath becomes even softer, even slower, without effort, Your body no longer needs to try, it simply follows. And your mind, which may have been active before, begins to notice this shift. Thoughts may still appear, but they begin to feel less urgent, less important, less demanding, like distant echoes, instead of loud voices, and instead of getting pulled into them, you remain here, with your breath, with your body, with this growing sense of safety, because right now, this is enough. This moment is enough. You are not behind, you are not missing anything, you are not failing to do something, you are simply here, and that is all that is needed. And as you rest in this awareness, you may begin to notice something deeper, something even more subtle, a quiet shift in the way your body feels from the inside, as if your nervous system is beginning to slow down, to recalibrate, to return to balance, your heartbeat steady and calm, your breath smooth and even, your muscles soft and supported. And all of this happens without effort, because this is not something you have to learn. It is something your body already knows. You are simply remembering it. So take another slow breath in, and as you exhale, allow yourself to sink just a little deeper into this feeling, a little more supported, a little more relaxed, a little more at ease, and notice how your body responds, how it welcomes this softness, how it begins to open without resistance, because when your body feels safe, it no longer needs to hold on, and when it lets go, healing begins, not forced, not controlled, just naturally, quietly, in the background. As you continue to breathe and soften and settle, and as this sense of safety continues to expand, you may begin to feel something else emerging, a quiet sense of trust, trust in your body, trust in this moment, trust in the process that is unfolding, even if you don't fully understand it. And that trust allows you to go even deeper, to release even more, to rest even more fully. So let yourself follow that feeling, let it guide you gently into an even deeper state of calm, where your breath becomes slower still, your body becomes heavier, your mind becomes quieter, and this quiet sense of safety within you continues to grow and expand and deepen, leading you naturally, effortlessly, into the next layer of stillness, where your thoughts begin to soften even more. And as this quiet sense of safety continues to expand within you, you may begin to notice something gently changing in the way your thoughts appear, not disappearing all at once, not completely silent, but softer, less sharp, less demanding, as if the edges of your thoughts are beginning to blur. And this happens naturally, without effort, without force, because your mind is no longer trying to hold everything together. It's beginning to loosen its grip. So if a thought appears, just notice it, not as something you need to follow, not as something you need to solve, but simply as something passing through, like a cloud drifting slowly across the sky, present for a moment, and then fading on its own. And you don't have to push it away. You don't have to replace it. You don't even have to understand it. You can simply let it be exactly as it is, while your awareness remains soft, steady, and at ease. Because right now, your mind is learning something new, or perhaps remembering something very old, that it doesn't have to stay tightly focused. It doesn't have to keep searching. It doesn't have to keep holding on. It can rest. And as that realization settles in, you may feel a subtle spaciousness opening inside your mind, a quiet gap between one thought and the next. At first, just a brief pause, barely noticeable. But then, with each slow breath, that space begins to widen, stretching gently, creating more room, more stillness, more calm. And within that space, there is no pressure, no urgency, no need to react, just a soft, open awareness that allows everything to come and go without resistance. So if another thought arises, you can simply watch it, as if from a distance, not inside it, but observing it, as it forms, as it lingers, and as it slowly dissolves. And with each thought that passes, your mind becomes a little quieter, a little lighter, a little more free, because you are no longer holding on to them. You are allowing them to move. And as this continues, you may begin to feel something else, something even more subtle, a gentle detachment from the constant stream of thinking, not disconnection, not emptiness, but a peaceful separation, as if your awareness has stepped slightly back, creating space between you and your thoughts. And in that space, you begin to feel a deeper sense of calm, because thoughts, when they are not held on to, lose their intensity, they lose their urgency, they lose their power to pull you away from this moment. And what remains is a quiet stillness, a steady presence, a gentle awareness that feels calm, open, and at ease. And as you rest in this space, you may notice that your breathing has become even slower, even softer, your body even heavier, even more supported, and your mind more spacious, more relaxed, more quiet. And all of this is happening without effort. You are not trying to quiet your mind. You are allowing it to settle like water that becomes still when it is no longer disturbed. And as that stillness deepens, your awareness begins to drift even further away from active thinking and closer to a state of gentle presence, where thoughts may still exist, but they no longer define your experience. They simply pass through like distant echoes, while you remain here, steady, calm, and at ease. And in this space, there is nothing you need to figure out, nothing you need to remember, nothing you need to plan. All of that can wait, because right now, this moment is for rest. This moment is for letting go. So let your mind continue to soften. Let it continue to loosen its grip, allowing thoughts to come and go more freely, more gently, without holding, without resisting, without effort. And as this process continues, you may begin to notice that even the thoughts themselves start to slow down. They appear less often, they linger less, they fade more quickly, until eventually there are longer stretches of quiet, longer moments of stillness, longer spaces where nothing is happening and everything feels calm. And within those spaces, your mind begins to rest, truly rest, not thinking, not analyzing, just being. And as your mind rests, your body responds, softening even more, your breath becoming slower still, your entire system moving gently toward a deeper state of relaxation. And in this state, you may begin to feel a quiet sense of relief, as if something inside you has finally been given permission to stop, to pause, to let go. And that relief spreads gently through you like a soft wave, touching every part of your body, every layer of your awareness, bringing with it a deeper sense of ease, a deeper sense of calm, a deeper sense of peace. And as you continue to drift in this quiet space, you may begin to feel your awareness shifting again, not into thinking, but into feeling the softness in your body, feeling the stillness in your mind, feeling the quiet calm that now surrounds you. And as you rest here, your mind no longer needs to hold on to anything at all. It can simply float, drift, rest, supported by this growing calm, guided gently by your breath, moving naturally, effortlessly, into an even deeper state of relaxation, where your body begins to release even more of the weight it has been carrying. And as your mind continues to soften and thoughts become fewer, slower, more distant, something else begins to happen. Something even deeper than thinking, something in your body starts to shift, because your body has been carrying things all day long, not just physical tension, but emotional weight, mental pressure, subtle stress you may not have even noticed. And now, in this quiet moment, your body begins to understand that it no longer needs to carry all of that. So very gently, very naturally, it starts to release, not all at once, not dramatically, but slowly, like a soft unwinding from the inside out. And you might begin to notice this first in your shoulders, a slight drop, a softening, a sense of easing downward, as if gravity itself is finally allowed to take over. No effort, no resistance, just release. And as your shoulders soften, your chest begins to follow. That subtle tightness you may have been holding there begins to loosen, like something that was gently clenched, is now slowly opening. And with that opening, your breath becomes easier, more natural, less restricted. You are not controlling it, it is simply happening. And as your breath deepens on its own, your body begins to trust this feeling. Trust that it is safe to relax. Trust that it is safe to let go. Trust that it is safe to stop holding everything together. And with that trust, the release continues, down through your back, where tension often hides quietly, unnoticed but always present, softening now, unfolding now, letting go now. And as this wave of relaxation moves through your spine, you may feel a gentle heaviness beginning to spread. Not discomfort, but comfort, the kind of heaviness that comes when you are finally allowed to rest, like sinking into a soft bed after a long day, like being supported completely without needing to do anything. And as your back relaxes, your stomach begins to soften too, that place where emotions often gather, where stress often settles, where tension is quietly stored. And now it begins to release, not by force, but by permission. And maybe you don't even know what you're releasing, and you don't need to, because your body understands, even if your mind does not, and it knows how to let go in its own natural way. So just allow that softness to spread from your chest into your belly, through your hips, down into your legs, slowly, gently, like warmth moving through you. And as this warmth spreads, something subtle begins to happen in your emotional space, because emotions are not separate from the body, they live inside it. And when the body begins to soften, the emotions begin to loosen too. Old tension, old feelings, old heaviness begin to shift, not pushed away, but gently released, like water slowly finding its way out. When the pressure is gone, and you don't have to analyze any of it, you don't have to relive anything, you don't have to understand anything. You are simply allowing your system to unwind, and as this unwinding continues, Your body begins to feel lighter. Even though it is resting deeper, it feels less burdened, less held, less restricted, and more supported, more grounded, more at ease. And in this ease, something very important begins to return: balance. Your nervous system, which has been alert, active, responsive throughout the day, begins to slow down, like a river that finally reaches still water. No urgency, no pressure, no need to move quickly anymore, just calm, just stillness, just quiet regulation. And you may notice your heartbeat feels steadier, your breath feels smoother, your body feels heavier in the most comforting way, as if you are being gently held by something greater than effort. And in this holding, you can allow yourself to go even deeper, because there is nothing you need to do right now, nothing you need to fix, nothing you need to solve, nothing you need to prepare for. Everything can wait. And as that truth settles in, your body responds again with another layer of release. Shoulders softening further, jaw unclenching more deeply, hands relaxing completely, stomach releasing what it no longer needs to hold, legs sinking even heavier into support, and your entire system begins to feel quiet, not empty, not absent, but peacefully quiet, like a room after all the noise has faded. And in that quiet, you may begin to notice something beautiful, something very subtle, a feeling of being held, not just by the surface beneath you, but by the moment itself, as if everything around you is gently supporting your rest. And that sense of support allows you to let go even more, because when you feel held, you no longer need to hold yourself. And as that realization settles in, your body sinks a little deeper, your breath slows a little more, and your mind becomes even quieter, drifting now softly into the next layer of calm. And as your body continues to release, something very gentle begins to emerge, a subtle warmth, not strong or overwhelming, but soft, steady, and deeply calming. It begins almost unnoticed, like a quiet sensation forming beneath the surface of your awareness, a warmth that doesn't ask for attention, but gently invites it. And as you become aware of it, you may notice it first in your chest, a soft expansion, a gentle easing, a feeling as if something inside you is slowly opening, not emotionally forced, not mentally directed, just naturally unfolding. And this warmth does not rush, it does not demand, it simply spreads at its own peaceful pace from your chest into your shoulders, softening anything that remains tight or guarded, melting away the last traces of resistance. And as that happens, your breathing begins to reflect it, slightly slower, slightly deeper, slightly more effortless, as if your entire system is beginning to synchronize with this feeling of calm. And now, this warmth continues its journey down your arms, through your elbows, into your forearms, your wrists, and finally into your hands. And you may notice something subtle here, a sense of letting go, because hands often hold more than we realize. They hold tension, they hold effort, they hold control, they hold the invisible weight of trying. And now they begin to release it, softening, opening, resting. And in that release, there is a quiet emotional shift happening beneath awareness. Because when the body lets go, the emotions follow, gently, naturally, without force. And you don't need to name anything. You don't need to analyze anything. You don't need to understand anything. You are simply allowing. And as you allow, this warmth continues to spread, now moving deeper into your upper back, where stress often settles quietly, where responsibility is often carried without notice. And as it reaches this space, you may feel a subtle melting sensation, as if something that was once held tightly is now slowly dissolving, not disappearing, but releasing its grip. And with that release, there is space, space for ease, space for stillness, space for calm. And as that space opens, your body responds again. Your posture softens internally. Your muscles begin to drop into support. Your nervous system begins to slow its signals. Everything begins to move toward balance. And now this warmth continues, flowing gently down your spine, vertebrae by vertebrae, layer by layer, softening the central structure of your body, as if each part is being gently reminded that it does not need to hold so tightly anymore. And as your spine relaxes, your breath deepens naturally again. No effort, no control, just flow. And in that flow, you may begin to feel something very subtle, a quiet emotional ease, as if something inside you that was slightly tense, slightly guarded, slightly braced, is finally beginning to exhale. And that exhale is not just physical, it is emotional too. A release of subtle tension, a soft letting go of inner pressure, a quiet unwinding of emotional holding. And you don't have to know what it is. You only need to feel the release, because healing does not always come with understanding. Sometimes it comes with softness, sometimes it comes with surrender, sometimes it comes with letting the body lead where the mind cannot go. And now this warmth continues downward into your lower back, a place that often carries unseen burdens, responsibility, stress, emotional weight. And as it reaches here, something begins to shift, a gentle loosening, a soft release, a deep internal sigh, as if your body is finally saying, I don't need to carry this anymore. And you don't have to respond, you don't have to interpret it, you only need to allow it. And as that allowance deepens, the warmth continues into your hips, your pelvis, your thighs, and with each area it touches, there is a deeper sense of grounding forming, not tension, not pressure, but support, as if your entire lower body is being gently anchored into safety. And that safety is important, because when the body feels safe, it naturally begins to release what it has been holding. And now this warmth moves even further into your knees, your calves, your ankles, and finally into your feet. And with that final descent, something completes a cycle, a full body release, a full body softening, a full body surrender. And for a moment, you may notice something very quiet, a sense of stillness that feels deeper than before, as if your entire body has finally exhaled, not just physically, but emotionally. And in that exhale, there is relief, a quiet, steady relief that does not need explanation. And as you rest in that relief, you may begin to notice that the warmth is still present, not moving now, but holding like a gentle field of calm surrounding every part of you. And within that field, your mind becomes quieter still, thoughts fade more easily, silence becomes more natural, stillness becomes more familiar, and you are not trying to get anywhere. You are not trying to become anything. You are simply here, resting, softening, allowing, and in this allowance, something very deep begins to settle inside you. A sense of emotional ease, a sense of internal safety, a sense of being supported from within. And that feeling grows quietly in the background of your awareness as you continue to drift deeper and deeper into calm. And as this quiet warmth continues to move through you, something very subtle begins to happen. something you do not need to control and do not need to understand. You begin to let go, not because you are forcing it, not because you are trying to fix anything, but because your body and your mind are finally beginning to feel safe enough to release what they have been holding. And emotional tension is often not something loud. It is often quiet, subtle, hidden beneath awareness, a small tightness in the chest, a slight pressure in the stomach, a faint heaviness in the mind, a feeling you may not even have words for, but your body knows, and right now, your body is beginning to soften around it, not by analyzing it, not by revisiting it, but by simply allowing it to loosen on its own. And as you continue to rest, you may notice something very gentle happening, a sense of internal unraveling, like something that was once tightly held is now slowly coming undone, thread by thread, layer by layer, softly dissolving without resistance. And as this happens, you might feel a quiet emotional release, not dramatic, not overwhelming, but subtle and natural. A deep breath you didn't realize you were holding, finally letting go, a weight you didn't notice you were carrying, quietly setting itself down. And you don't have to label what it is. You don't have to give it meaning. You only need to allow it, because emotional healing does not always arrive as understanding. Sometimes it arrives as softness. Sometimes it arrives as stillness. Sometimes it arrives as letting go without knowing why. And that is what is happening now. As your body continues to relax, your emotional system begins to reorganize itself slowly, quietly, naturally, like water finding its level after being disturbed. And in this process, you may notice small waves of feeling passing through, not to disturb you, but to release what no longer needs to stay. And you are safe through all of it. You do not need to hold on to anything. You do not need to push anything away. You only need to remain here, soft, steady, and present. And as you do, something very important begins to happen beneath awareness. Your nervous system begins to shift out of protection mode, out of alertness, out of emotional bracing, out of holding everything together, and it begins to move into restoration, repair, rebalancing, recalibration. And this shift is not sudden. It is gradual, gentle, almost unnoticeable, but deeply powerful, because this is where emotional healing begins to take root. Not in effort, but in safety, not in thinking, but in surrender. And as you continue to rest, you may feel your breath becoming even softer, your body even heavier, your mind even quieter. And within that quiet, your emotions begin to feel less intense, less sharp, less active, as if they are stepping back, allowing space for peace to enter. And that peace does not rush. It does not demand. It simply arrives and stays. And now, as you remain in this space, you may begin to notice something else emerging, a gentle sense of emotional lightness, not because everything has been solved, but because you are no longer holding everything at once, and that alone creates relief, a deep internal exhale, and in that exhale, your body softens further, your shoulders drop further, your chest opens further, your mind becomes quieter still, and you begin to feel less defined by what you are carrying and more connected to the stillness beneath it. That stillness has always been here. It was just covered for a while, covered by thoughts, covered by emotions, covered by tension, covered by effort, but now it is becoming visible again. And as it returns, you may feel a quiet sense of grounding, a sense of being anchored, not in stress, but in calm. not in urgency, but in presence. And this grounding allows even more release, because when you feel supported, you do not need to hold on as tightly. And now, your body begins to release even deeper layers of emotional tension, gently, effortlessly, naturally, as if everything that is no longer needed is slowly fading into softness, and you are not losing anything. You are simply letting go of what was heavy, and what remains is you, calm, present, resting. And as this continues, you may begin to feel something very subtle, a quiet emotional emptiness, not in a negative way, but in a peaceful way. A space where tension used to be is now calm. A space where noise used to be is now quiet. A space where emotional weight used to sit is now open. And in that openness, healing begins to happen naturally, without effort, without direction, without resistance, just unfolding. And as you continue to rest in this unfolding, you may notice your awareness drifting further inward, away from thoughts, away from tension, away from effort, and into a deeper sense of being, where nothing needs to be fixed, nothing needs to be held, nothing needs to be done, only rest, only softness, only surrender. And as you stay here, that sense of emotional release continues quietly in the background, supporting you, healing you, restoring you, as you gently move into even deeper calm, and as your body continues to soften even more, and your breath becomes even slower. Something very subtle begins to happen now, something you do not need to notice directly, but something that is happening anyway. Beneath the surface of awareness, quietly, gently, naturally, your inner system begins to heal. Not in a dramatic way, not in a visible way, but in a quiet, intelligent way that your body already knows how to do. Because healing does not always look like change. Sometimes it looks like stillness, sometimes it looks like rest, sometimes it looks like simply not holding on anymore. And right now, that is what is happening within you. A soft release at the deepest level. And as you remain here, resting between wakefulness and sleep, your mind begins to loosen even further. Thoughts may still appear, but they no longer pull you in the same way. They no longer feel as heavy. They no longer feel as urgent. They simply pass like distant echoes fading into silence. And in that silence, your subconscious mind becomes more open, more receptive, more quiet, more ready to restore balance. Because this is the state where healing naturally deepens, when effort fades, when control dissolves, when awareness becomes soft enough to allow change to happen on its own. And you are now in that space, a space between thinking and sleeping, a space between effort and surrender, a space where your body and mind can finally reset. And as this reset begins, you may notice something very gentle happening, a quiet emotional clearing, not forced, not directed, but natural, like dust settling after movement has stopped. Old emotional impressions, old mental patterns, old subtle tensions begin to lose their intensity, not because you are pushing them away, but because you are no longer holding them in place. And that makes all the difference, because what you stop holding naturally begins to release. And as this release continues, your body may feel heavier, deeper, more grounded, as if gravity itself is supporting you more fully now. And that heaviness is not discomfort, it is safety, it is surrender, it is rest finally taking over. And as your body rests more completely, your nervous system begins to shift even deeper into restoration mode, out of alertness, out of tension, out of emotional guarding, and into repair, regeneration, and balance. And this shift does not require your attention. It happens on its own, just like breathing, just like heartbeat, just like sleep itself. And you may begin to feel something subtle now, a quiet sense of emotional neutrality. Not sadness, not happiness, but calm, evenness, stillness, as if emotional waves are gently settling into a peaceful surface. And in that stillness, there is space. Space where nothing is overwhelming, space where nothing is too much, space where you can simply exist without pressure. And that space is healing, because in that space, your system is no longer reacting, it is restoring. And as you continue to drift, you may notice your awareness becoming softer still, less attached to thoughts, less engaged with sensation, more absorbed into calm. And this calm is not something you are creating, it is something you are returning to. Because beneath everything you have been carrying, there has always been a quiet layer of peace. It has always been there, it was never gone, it was simply covered for a while. And now, as everything begins to settle, that peace begins to surface again, slowly, gently, naturally, and as it rises within you, you may feel a quiet sense of relief, not because everything has changed outside of you, but because something has shifted inside, a loosening, a softening, a letting go. And that letting go continues without effort, because your body knows exactly how to do this. Your mind knows how to follow. Your system knows how to restore itself. You are not forcing anything. You are allowing everything. And that difference is what makes this moment powerful, because in allowing, you stop resisting, and in stopping resistance, healing becomes easier. And now, as you continue resting in this space, you may feel yourself drifting even further away from active awareness and closer to sleep, where thoughts become fragments, where sensations fade into background, where time begins to lose meaning, and all that remains is softness, deep softness, quiet softness, endless softness. And within that softness, your body continues to heal, not loudly, not visibly, but deeply, quietly, continuously, as if every breath you take now is gently restoring balance to every part of you. And you don't need to guide it, you don't need to observe, you only need to let it happen, because right now there is nothing more you need to do, nothing more you need to fix, nothing more you need to hold, nothing more you need to understand. Only rest, only surrender, only this quiet unfolding into deeper calm. And as your awareness continues to drift even deeper now, something very quiet begins to unfold within you, something you do not need to understand or even notice clearly, but something that is happening nonetheless. Beneath thought, beneath awareness, beneath effort, a gentle healing energy begins to move through you, not as something dramatic, not as something external, but as a soft internal shift, like warmth spreading through still water, slowly, evenly, and without resistance. And as this healing energy moves, it does not force anything, it does not push, it does not correct, it simply supports everything within you that is ready to soften. And you may notice this first in the quiet spaces of your body. Areas that once felt tight now feel looser. Areas that once felt heavy now feel lighter. Areas that once felt busy or tense now feel still. And this shift is not something you are doing. It is something that is happening to you and through you at the same time. Because your system, your body, your mind, your emotional self already knows how to restore balance. It only needs space to allow it. And right now, you are giving it that space. And as this healing energy continues to flow, you may begin to notice something subtle happening in your thoughts. They are becoming less structured, less demanding, less connected, like threads slowly loosening, no longer woven tightly together. And in that loosening, there is relief, because thoughts that were once held firmly no longer need to be carried in the same way. And so they begin to drift, softly, without urgency, without weight, without control, and you remain here, calm, present, and steady, not attached to them, not resisting them, simply allowing them to pass. And as they pass, your mind becomes quieter, not empty, not forced, but naturally spacious, like a sky slowly clearing after movement, revealing stillness that was always there. And within that stillness, your subconscious mind becomes more open, more receptive, more ready to release what no longer serves you. Because this is the level where deep healing happens, not through thinking but through letting go. And as you continue to rest, you may feel something very subtle emerging now, a quiet sense of emotional unburdening, as if something inside you that was once carrying too much is finally beginning to set it down, not all at once, not dramatically, but gently, gradually, naturally. And with each release, there is space, space for ease, space for calm, space for restoration. And that space feels safe, it feels steady, it feels like home. And as you remain in that space, your body continues to deepen its state of relaxation. Your breathing slows further without instruction. Your muscles soften further without effort. Your mind quiets further without resistance. Everything aligning naturally into balance. And you may begin to feel something very important now, a sense of internal trust. Trust in your body, trust in your mind, trust in this process of letting go. Because even if you are not consciously guiding it, something within you knows exactly what to do, and that knowing is enough. And as that trust deepens, you may feel yourself drifting further, beyond the need to observe, beyond the need to analyze, beyond the need to hold awareness tightly, and instead you begin to float in a softer layer of consciousness, where everything feels lighter, quieter, more distant. And in this drifting, your subconscious begins to do something very important. It begins to reorganize emotional energy, not by effort, not by control, but by natural intelligence, letting go of what is no longer needed, releasing what has already been processed, softening what has been held too long. And you do not need to guide this process, you only need to allow it, because allowing is enough. Allowing is healing, allowing is release, and as you continue to allow, you may feel your entire system becoming more settled, more grounded, more still, as if every part of you is slowly returning to its natural state of balance, a state of calm, a state of ease, a state of quiet restoration. And within that restoration, something beautiful begins to happen. You stop carrying, not because something is taken away, but because you are no longer holding it in the same way. And that difference changes everything, because what is not held cannot weigh you down. And as that truth settles gently within you, your body softens even more, your mind drifts even further, your awareness becomes even quieter, until there is only a gentle sense of being, floating in calm, resting in stillness, supported by something deeper than thought. And in that stillness, healing continues, quietly, continuously, effortlessly, as you gently move into even deeper layers of rest. And as you continue resting in this deeper state, something very subtle begins to happen now, something your conscious mind does not need to direct or even fully notice, but something your inner system understands perfectly. Balance begins to return, not suddenly, not dramatically, but gently, like a quiet recalibration happening from within, because emotions, just like waves in water, naturally settle when they are no longer disturbed. And right now, you are no longer disturbing anything. You are simply allowing your body to rest, allowing your mind to soften, allowing your emotional system to settle. And in that allowing, something very important begins to unfold. Emotional energy that was once active begins to quiet, not suppressed, not pushed away, but simply released from tension. And as this release continues, you may notice a sense of internal space opening up. Space where emotional pressure used to be, space where tension used to collect, space where holding used to exist. And in that space, there is nothing to fix, nothing to analyze, nothing to resolve, only stillness, only ease, only quiet presence. And as you remain in that presence, your emotional system begins to reorganize itself naturally, like water finding its level after being disturbed. It begins to return to equilibrium, and you do not need to help it. You do not need to guide it. You only need to stay here, soft, open, and relaxed. And as this continues, you may feel something very gentle emerging within you, a quiet sense of emotional neutrality. Not numbness, not emptiness, but balance, a feeling where nothing is too overwhelming and nothing is too intense. Everything simply exists in a softer form, and in that softness, your nervous system begins to settle even further, because emotional balance is deeply connected to physical relaxation. When one softens, the other follows, and now your body responds again by releasing even more subtle tension. Tiny contractions you were unaware of begin to dissolve. Micro-stress patterns begin to unwind. Small holding patterns in the breath begin to open, and everything inside you moves toward ease. And as that ease grows, your awareness begins to drift again, deeper, slower, quieter. You are no longer holding onto your thoughts. You are no longer following them closely. You are simply letting them pass. In the background of awareness, like distant echoes, fading gently, without importance. And in their absence, stillness becomes more noticeable, a soft, open stillness that feels steady, safe, and grounding. And within that stillness, something very important begins to happen. Your subconscious mind begins to integrate emotional release. Not as memory, not as story, but as energy settling back into balance. What was once tense becomes soft. What was once active becomes still. What was once heavy becomes light. And this transformation does not require effort. It happens naturally as you continue to rest. And as you rest, you may begin to feel a deeper sense of emotional safety emerging, a sense that nothing within you is too much, nothing within you is wrong, nothing within you needs to be fixed right now. And that realization, even if subtle, creates profound relaxation. Because when emotional safety is present, the body no longer needs to stay alert. The mind no longer needs to stay active. The heart no longer needs to stay guarded. Everything can soften. Everything can settle. Everything can rest. And as that truth gently spreads through you, your breathing becomes even slower. Your body becomes even heavier. Your mind becomes even quieter. And you may notice that you are no longer trying to stay aware in the same way. Instead, you are drifting, floating, sinking deeper into calm. And as you drift, your emotional system continues its quiet work, releasing what is no longer needed, balancing what has been uneven, soothing what has been overstimulated, all without effort, all without instruction, all without resistance, because your body knows how to heal, your mind knows how to settle, your emotions know how to rebalance, and you are allowing all of it. And in that allowance, there is peace, a deep, quiet peace that does not need to be created, only uncovered. And now, as you continue to rest, you may feel yourself moving even closer to sleep, where thoughts become softer, where awareness becomes lighter, where everything begins to fade into calm. And in that fading, your emotional world continues to settle beneath awareness, restoring balance, restoring harmony, restoring ease. As you drift gently into deeper stillness, and as you continue drifting deeper now, something very subtle begins to happen beneath awareness, something your conscious mind does not need to observe or understand or control, but something your subconscious already knows how to do. Old patterns begin to loosen, not all at once, not dramatically, but quietly, gently, naturally, as if something inside you is finally exhaling after holding itself for too long. And these patterns, they are not just thoughts, they are not just memories, they are not just emotions, they are deeper than that. They are ways your mind learned to respond, ways your body learned to react, ways your system learned to protect you. And for a long time, they served a purpose. They helped you navigate, they helped you cope, they helped you move through experiences. But now, in this moment, you are safe enough to begin letting them soften. And you don't need to decide which ones go. You don't need to identify them. You don't need to analyze them, because your subconscious already understands. It knows what is no longer needed. It knows what can be released. It knows what can dissolve naturally, without effort. And so it begins, quietly, gently, effortlessly, like dust settling after movement has stopped. Old internal patterns begin to settle too, and as they settle, you may feel a subtle shift inside you, a lightness, a softening, a sense that something has been unhooked from within, not taken away, not forced out, but simply released from tension. And as this release continues, your awareness becomes softer still. You are no longer holding on to thoughts in the same way. You are no longer gripping emotional reactions. You are no longer bracing internally. Instead, you are allowing everything to move through without resistance. And in that allowing, something very important happens. The mind stops organizing itself around stress. The body stops preparing for tension. The emotions stop looping through old responses, and everything begins to quiet, not into emptiness, but into balance. And as this balance returns, your subconscious begins a deeper process now. It starts reorganizing emotional memory, not to erase anything, but to soften its charge, to reduce its weight, to release its grip, so that what once felt heavy now feels neutral. What once felt intense now feels distant. What once felt overwhelming now feels manageable or simply no longer active. And you do not need to witness this process directly. It happens beneath awareness, beyond thought, beyond control. And that is why it feels so effortless, because healing at this level does not require effort. It requires safety, and you are safe now. And as that safety deepens, you may notice your breathing becoming even slower, even quieter, even more natural. as if your body is breathing itself, as if your system has remembered how to rest without instruction, and with each breath, something releases, not visibly, not dramatically, but internally, softly, continuously. And now, you may begin to feel a deeper sense of spaciousness inside your mind, as if thoughts are no longer sticking, no longer forming tightly, no longer holding attention. Instead, they drift through awareness like faint impressions, without weight, and in that spaciousness, stillness begins to expand, a stillness that is not forced, a stillness that is not empty, a stillness that is simply present. And within that stillness, your subconscious continues its quiet work, letting go of patterns that were once repeated automatically, softening responses that were once immediate, releasing emotional loops that no longer serve your present state. And all of this happens without effort, without direction, without resistance, because your system already knows how to return to balance. It only needs space to do so. And right now, you are that space, open, calm, still. And as you remain here, you may feel yourself drifting further away from active awareness, as if your mind is no longer holding the center of attention, as if your body is becoming the main place of experience, as if everything is gently slowing down, moving towards sleep. And in this slowing, the subconscious becomes even more active in its healing, not through thinking, but through releasing, not through effort, but through rest. And you are allowing it all, every layer softening, every pattern loosening, every tension dissolving, until there is only calm, only stillness, only quiet presence. And as you drift even deeper now, you may notice that you no longer feel the need to follow any thought. You no longer feel the need to hold on to awareness tightly. You no longer feel the need to stay engaged. Instead, you are simply here, floating, resting, sinking into deeper layers of calm, where everything continues to settle on its own. And now, there is nothing left to do, no effort, no holding, no trying, only rest, only softness, only letting go, because you have already arrived at the edge of sleep, that quiet threshold where awareness begins to fade and the body takes over completely. And as you rest here, something very natural begins to happen. Sleep begins to approach, not suddenly, not forcefully, but gently, like a tide moving inward, slowly covering everything with calm, and you don't resist it, because there is nothing to resist anymore. You are safe, you are supported, you are allowed to fully let go now, and as that truth settles deeply within you, your body responds immediately. Shoulders soften completely, jaw releases completely, hands become heavy and still, breathing slows into a natural rhythm, everything begins to sink, everything begins to soften, everything begins to quiet. And now you are no longer in transition, you are entering sleep. And as sleep moves closer, your mind becomes quieter than before. Thoughts no longer form clearly, they begin to fade, like distant echoes dissolving into silence. And in that silence, something very important happens. Your subconscious mind absorbs everything you needed from this journey, every suggestion of safety, every reminder of calm, every experience of release, every moment of letting go is now being integrated, not consciously, not deliberately, but deeply, naturally, and permanently at the level your mind understands most. Because the subconscious does not sleep, it continues working even as you drift into sleep, and now it continues its quiet healing work within you, releasing emotional residue, softening old tension patterns, balancing internal rhythms, restoring natural calm. And all of this happens without effort, without awareness, without interruption. And as it continues, your body becomes even heavier, even deeper, even more relaxed, as if gravity itself is gently pulling you into perfect rest. And now you may notice that even awareness itself is fading, not disappearing, but dissolving into calm, as if you are no longer holding the experience, but becoming part of it. And this is where deep sleep begins, not in struggle, not in effort, but in surrender. And so now, there is nothing more you need to follow, nothing more you need to listen to closely, nothing more you need to do. You can simply drift, and as you drift, your subconscious continues to stabilize everything within you, restoring emotional balance, releasing mental tension, resetting nervous system activity, bringing you back to your natural state of peace. And that peace is always here. It was never gone. It was only covered by activity. And now it is returning, softly, quietly, completely. And as it returns, your breathing becomes slower still, almost as if it is breathing you. Your body feels heavier, as if sinking into something infinitely supportive. Your mind feels quieter, as if fading into distance, and everything begins to disappear, except calm. And in that calm, you are fully safe, fully held, fully at rest. And now, subconscious affirmations begin to gently settle within you, not as words to repeat, but as feelings to absorb. As you drift into sleep, my body is safe and deeply relaxed. My mind is quiet and at peace. I am letting go of everything I no longer need. I am supported in this moment. I am allowed to rest fully now. Peace is returning to every part of me. My breathing is soft and natural. My body knows how to heal itself. I release the day completely. I am safe to sleep deeply now. Everything is okay. I am at rest. I am at peace. And you don't need to hold on to these words. You don't need to remember them. They are simply settling into your subconscious as you drift deeper and deeper into sleep. And now there is only fading awareness, only softness, only sleep. And as sleep takes you completely, your body continues to heal, your mind continues to rest, your emotions continue to balance, and you are safe, always safe, drifting now into deep, restorative, peaceful sleep. And now there is nothing left to hold, no awareness to maintain, no thoughts to follow, no effort to continue, only sleep, only surrender, only peace, because you have reached the place where everything begins to fade, not suddenly, but softly, like a light slowly dimming in a quiet room, until there is only stillness left. And as that stillness grows, your body lets go completely. Every muscle, every breath, every subtle tension, releasing now, settling now, resting now. And you don't need to guide any of it, because your body already knows how to sleep. It remembers, it returns, it lets go naturally. And as you drift deeper, your awareness becomes softer than before. Thoughts are no longer forming clearly. They are dissolving before they even fully appear. And in their place, there is only calm, a deep, quiet calm that spreads through every part of you. From the top of your head, down through your face, your neck, your shoulders, your chest, your stomach, your hips, your legs, all the way down into your feet, everything soft, everything heavy, everything still. And now you are no longer holding anything at all, not the day, not the thoughts, not the emotions, not the tension. Everything has been released. Everything has been allowed to settle. Everything has been returned to stillness. And in that stillness, sleep becomes deeper. Not something you enter, but something you become. Because sleep is not a place you go. It is a state you return to, and you are returning now. Slowly, naturally, completely. And as you drift further, you may notice that even the sense of you begins to soften. Not disappearing, but becoming quieter, less defined, more peaceful, as if you are no longer separate from rest, but part of it. And in this merging, there is deep comfort, because nothing is required of you anymore. Nothing is expected, nothing is waiting. Only rest remains, only calm remains, only sleep remains. And now, even these words begin to fade, not because they are stopping, but because your awareness is moving beyond them into deeper silence, where sound no longer matters, where thought no longer forms, where everything is soft and distant and calm. And as you continue to drift, your subconscious gently completes its work, locking in calm, stabilizing peace, reinforcing safety, restoring emotional balance, all without effort, all without awareness, all without interruption, because healing continues even in sleep, and you are now fully in that space, where your body restores itself, where your mind resets itself, where your emotions settle completely, and all you need to do is remain here, soft, heavy, still, letting go more with each breath, even though breathing is now so subtle, so quiet, so natural, it almost breathes itself. And now you are drifting fully, no longer between states, no longer in transition, but fully into sleep, deep sleep, restorative sleep, healing sleep. And everything is okay, everything is safe, everything is as it should be, and you can rest now, completely fading now, softly, quietly into sleep. And now you are fully in sleep, or gently entering it, or drifting somewhere in between. And that is exactly where you need to be, because there is nothing more you need to follow now, nothing more you need to hear closely, nothing more you need to do at all. Only rest, only softness, only deep, natural sleep. And even though awareness may fade completely, this calm continues, because everything you experienced in this journey does not end when the words fade. It continues within you, quietly, naturally, deeply. Your body remembers safety, your mind remembers stillness, your emotions remember balance, and all of it continues working, even now as you sleep. And if there is any part of your mind still listening, you can allow it to relax too. No need to stay alert, no need to stay aware, no need to hold on. Just let go completely, because sleep is already here, and it is safe to fully surrender into it. And as you continue resting, you may notice something very subtle, a feeling of being held, not by anything physical, but by calm itself, as if the silence around you is gently supporting you, like something soft and infinite, cradling you into deeper rest. And within that support, your breathing becomes almost invisible, your thoughts become almost non-existent, your awareness becomes almost completely still. And that is perfect, because this is where deep restoration happens, not in awareness, but in absence of effort. And now, there is nothing left to guide, nothing left to follow, nothing left to receive, only drifting, only fading, only sleeping. And even the sense of drifting begins to dissolve now, because there is no direction anymore, only stillness, only sleep. And if any sound remains in your environment, It simply becomes part of the distance. It does not disturb you. It does not reach you. It simply passes through silence, and you remain undisturbed, unmoved, deeply asleep. And this sleep now becomes deeper than before, heavier, softer, more complete, as if every layer of your mind is gently closing, like petals returning to rest at night. One by one, everything softens, everything settles, everything fades, until there is only sleep, only peace, only nothing to hold, and you are safe here, completely safe, completely held, completely at rest. And now, even these words begin to disappear. Not because they stop, but because you no longer need them. You have already arrived. You have already let go. You are already asleep. And that is enough, more than enough, perfect enough. And so now, nothing remains but deep, quiet, restful sleep. And now, there is nothing left to follow, nothing left to listen to, nothing left to hold. Even sleep itself is no longer something you are entering, because you are already there, fully, completely, naturally. And as everything settles into stillness, there is only one thing remaining: calm. A deep, quiet, endless calm that now fills every part of your being. Even that sense of you that was listening, that was following, that was drifting, begins to soften now, not disappearing in any alarming way, gently dissolving into peace, as if individuality itself is relaxing into something wider, softer, more infinite. And there is nothing to resist in that, nothing to analyze, nothing to fear, only surrender, only ease, only quiet existence dissolving into sleep. And now your body is no longer being guided. It is guiding itself, naturally, effortlessly, perfectly. Every breath is softer than the last. Every sensation is further away than before. Every thought is quieter than silence. And all that remains is deep, uninterrupted rest. And even the idea of remaining begins to fade now, because there is no longer anything to hold on to, only drifting, only dissolving, only sleep. And somewhere beyond awareness, your subconscious continues its gentle work, not as thought, not as effort, but as pure restoration, releasing what no longer matters, balancing what was once active, calming what was once overstimulated. And everything is now complete, not because something was achieved, but because everything was allowed to settle, and that is enough, more than enough, always enough. And now, even these words begin to disappear completely, not stopping, but fading into silence, like echoes dissolving into open space, like ripples returning to still water, like everything gently becoming nothing, and that nothing feeling like peace. And you are safe here, completely safe, completely held, completely asleep. And if any part of awareness remains, it can simply relax too. No need to stay, no need to listen, no need to continue. Only sleep remains now, only deep rest, only silence. And so you drift and drift and drift into deeper and deeper sleep, where nothing needs to happen anymore, and everything is already at rest. And now there is nothing left to continue, nothing left to follow, nothing left to become, because everything has already settled, everything has already softened, everything has already returned to stillness. And you are no longer moving towards sleep. You are fully inside it now, completely, naturally, deeply. And as this final layer of rest expands, even awareness itself becomes unnecessary. You are no longer observing anything. You are no longer listening. You are no longer holding on to anything at all. Only sleep remains. Only calm remains, only infinite softness remains, and even the sense of remaining begins to dissolve, because there is no separation anymore. No watcher, no listener, no thinker, only quiet existence fading into peace. And in this deep stillness, your body has already completed its release. Every muscle relaxed, every nerve softened, every breath slowed into natural rhythm. Nothing left to adjust, nothing left to guide, nothing left to do. And now your subconscious continues what it always knows how to do: restore balance, heal, release, not through effort, but through silence. And in that silence, everything unnecessary begins to fade away completely. Old tension patterns dissolving, old emotional weight loosening, old mental activity fading into distance, and what remains is only peace, a peace so soft. It feels like it has no beginning and no end, and as you rest here, even the idea of time begins to disappear. There is no past now, there is no future now. There is only this moment of deep, endless rest, and that is enough, more than enough, perfectly enough. And if there is any remaining awareness at all, it can simply float now, weightless, unattached, unbothered, because nothing is required anymore, nothing is expected, nothing is needed, only sleep, only stillness, only surrender. And now, even these words begin to fade completely, not ending, but dissolving, like sound disappearing into distance, like lights slowly dimming into night, like everything returning to silence. And you are safe, completely held, completely at rest. And now there is only sleep, only deep sleep, only endless quiet rest. And so you drift and drift and drift further into silence, further into softness, further into sleep, where nothing remains but peace. And now everything is complete, nothing more to guide, nothing more to follow, nothing more to receive, because you have already arrived, fully, completely, effortlessly. And in this arrival, even the idea of arrival begins to dissolve. There is no direction anymore, no forward, no backward, no process, only stillness, only silence, only sleep. And as this silence deepens, everything within you continues to soften on its own. No effort, no control, no awareness required, just natural surrender unfolding layer by layer, deeper than thought, deeper than emotion, deeper than sensation. And now, even the mind itself is no longer active, not resisting, not thinking, just resting, and your body follows completely, heavy, soft, still, safe. Every part of you now fully released into the support of sleep. And somewhere beyond awareness, your subconscious continues its quiet work, balancing everything that needs balance, releasing everything that no longer serves you, restoring everything that can be restored, without effort, without instruction, without interruption, just deep, natural healing happening beneath silence. And you do not need to witness it, you do not need to understand it, you only need to allow it, because allowing is enough. Allowing is rest, allowing is healing, allowing is sleep, and now even allowing begins to fade, because there is nothing left to allow, only being, only stillness, only quiet existence dissolving into peace. And as you rest here, you may notice everything becoming softer than before, even softer than softness itself, as if reality is gently fading, not disappearing, but becoming quiet. And in that quiet, there is no separation anymore, no inside, no outside, no distance, only calm, only deep, endless calm. And now, even these words are no longer important. They are fading too, slowly, softly, completely, like echoes disappearing into vast silence, like waves returning to still water, like everything becoming nothing, and that nothing feeling like peace. And you are safe, completely held, completely asleep, and there is nothing left to do now, nothing left to hear, nothing left to follow. Only drifting, only dissolving, only sleep. And so you fade and fade and fade into deeper and deeper rest, where nothing remains but infinite peace. And now there is nothing left to follow, not even the sense of following. Everything has softened, everything has slowed, everything has dissolved into quiet, and you are no longer moving through this experience, because the experience itself is dissolving around you, gently, naturally, completely. And in this dissolving, there is no effort required from you anymore, no attention needed, no awareness needed. Only rest remains, only deep stillness remains, only sleep remains. And as that stillness deepens, you may notice even the sense of you becoming softer, less defined, less active, less present as a separate observer. And that is perfectly okay, because nothing is being lost, only tension is being released, only effort is being dissolved, only noise is fading away, and what remains is something far quieter than thought, far softer than feeling, far deeper than awareness, a state of pure rest. And now your body continues to settle even further, as if every remaining layer of tension is gently melting away, without resistance, without direction, without effort. And your mind follows completely, not trying to hold anything, not trying to understand anything, not trying to continue anything, just soft, quiet, natural surrender. And somewhere beyond awareness, your subconscious continues its work. But even that concept now becomes unnecessary, because there is no longer anything to process, only balance, only stillness, only completion. And as you rest here, you may notice something very subtle, a fading of even the sense of time. No beginning, no middle, no end, only now, only silence, only sleep. And that silence is not empty. It is full of rest, full of calm, full of safety. And now even these words are no longer holding attention. They are fading too, slowly, softly, completely, like distant echoes disappearing into vast space, like light dimming into night, like everything returning to its origin of stillness. And you are safe, completely supported, completely at rest. And there is nothing left to do now, nothing left to become, nothing left to experience. Only drifting remains, only dissolving remains, only sleep remains. And so you drift now, beyond structure, beyond thought, beyond awareness, into deep, quiet, infinite rest. And now there is nothing left to guide, nothing left to follow, nothing left to hold, because everything has already dissolved into deep rest, and you are no longer listening in the usual way. You are simply being, softly, quietly, naturally. And even that sense of being is becoming lighter now, less defined, less structured, more like drifting awareness than active thought. And as this continues, everything within you remains at ease, not because it is being maintained, but because it no longer needs effort to stay calm, Calm is now the natural state. Rest is now the natural state. Stillness is now the natural state. And somewhere beyond awareness, your subconscious continues to support this state. Silently, effortlessly, continuously. Reinforcing balance, maintaining relaxation, sustaining deep rest, not as action, but as nature. And you do not need to observe it. You do not need to participate in it. You are already part of it. And now, even the idea of now begins to soften, because time is no longer structured in the same way. There is only drifting, only fading, only quiet continuation. And if any part of awareness still remains present, it can gently relax further. There is nothing to stay alert for, nothing to hold on to, nothing to continue, only letting go. And as you continue letting go, you may notice something very subtle, a feeling that everything is already complete, not ending, but complete, whole, settled. And in that completeness, there is peace, a deep, stable peace that does not change, does not shift, does not require attention. And now, even these words are no longer separate from silence. They are dissolving into it, softly, slowly, completely, like echoes returning to vast open space, like waves disappearing back into the ocean, like everything becoming quiet again, as it always was beneath everything else. And you are safe, completely supported, completely at rest, and there is nothing left to do now, nothing left to become, nothing left to experience. Only sleep remains, only silence remains, only stillness remains. And so you drift now, beyond structure, beyond awareness, beyond thought, into deep, endless, restful sleep. And now there is nothing left unfolding, nothing left continuing, nothing left to follow, because everything has already settled into stillness, completely, naturally, effortlessly. And even though the experience is fading, the effect of it remains, softly, quietly, deeply, like a gentle imprint of calm, resting within you, without needing attention, and you do not need to hold on to it, because it holds itself naturally, effortlessly, silently. And now your awareness may be very far away, or almost absent, or simply drifting without direction, and that is perfectly fine, because there is nothing you need to stay aware of anymore, nothing you need to follow, nothing you need to continue. Only rest remains, only stillness remains, only quiet continuation remains. And even that sense of continuation is becoming softer now, less defined, less structured, more like gentle presence dissolving into silence. And somewhere deep within you, your subconscious continues to maintain this calm state, not as effort, not as work, but as natural balance, a steady return to stillness, a gentle maintenance of peace, a quiet restoration of everything within you. And you do not need to be involved in it. You are already included in it, fully, completely, naturally. And now, even the idea of you begins to feel softer, less active, less separate, more like drifting awareness within calm. And there is no need to hold on to identity, no need to hold on to thought, no need to hold on to anything at all. Only softness remains, only peace remains, only silence remains. And as that silence deepens, everything becomes even quieter than before, even more still than stillness itself. And now, even these words are fading into that silence, not stopping, not ending, just dissolving, slowly, softly, completely, like everything returning to the space it came from, like sound returning to silence, like movement returning to stillness, like everything becoming quiet again. as it always was beneath everything else, and you are safe, completely held, completely at rest. And there is nothing left to do now, nothing left to experience, nothing left to become. Only sleep remains, only silence remains, only deep, endless rest remains. And so you drift now, without effort, without direction, without awareness, into deeper and deeper stillness, where nothing remains but peace. And now everything is complete, nothing more to guide, nothing more to follow, nothing more to receive, because you have already arrived, fully, completely, effortlessly. And in this arrival, even the idea of arrival begins to dissolve. There is no direction anymore, no forward, no backward, no process, only stillness, only silence, only sleep. And as this silence deepens, everything within you continues to soften on its own. No effort, no control, no awareness required. Just natural surrender unfolding layer by layer, deeper than thought, deeper than emotion, deeper than sensation. And now even the mind itself is no longer active, not resisting, not thinking, just resting. And your body follows completely, heavy, soft, still, safe. Every part of you now fully released into the support of sleep. And somewhere beyond awareness, your subconscious continues its quiet work, balancing everything that needs balance, releasing everything that no longer serves you, restoring everything that can be restored, without effort, without instruction, without interruption, just deep, natural healing happening beneath silence. And you do not need to witness it, you do not need to understand it, you only need to allow it, because allowing is enough. Allowing is rest, allowing is healing, allowing is sleep. And now, even allowing begins to fade, because there is nothing left to allow, only being, only stillness, only quiet existence dissolving into peace. And as you rest here, you may notice everything becoming softer than before, even softer than softness itself, as if reality is gently fading, not disappearing, but becoming quiet. And in that quiet, there is no separation anymore, no inside, no outside, no distance, only calm, only deep, endless calm. And now, even these words are no longer important, they are fading too, slowly, softly, completely, like echoes disappearing into vast silence, like waves returning to still water, like everything becoming nothing, and that nothing feeling like peace. And you are safe, completely held, completely asleep, and there is nothing left to do now, nothing left to hear, nothing left to follow, only drifting, only dissolving, only sleep. And so you fade and fade and fade into deeper and deeper rest, where nothing remains but infinite peace. And now there is nothing left to follow, not even the sense of following. Everything has softened, everything has slowed, everything has dissolved into quiet, and you are no longer moving through this experience, because the experience itself is dissolving around you. Gently, naturally, completely, and in this dissolving there is no effort required from you anymore, no attention needed, no awareness needed. Only rest remains, only deep stillness remains, only sleep remains, and as that stillness deepens, you may notice even the sense of you becoming softer, less defined, less active, less present as a separate observer. And that is perfectly okay, because nothing is being lost, only tension is being released, only effort is being dissolved, only noise is fading away, and what remains is something far quieter than thought, far softer than feeling, far deeper than awareness, a state of pure rest. And now your body continues to settle even further, as if every remaining layer of tension is gently melting away, without resistance, without direction, without effort, and your mind follows completely, not trying to hold anything, not trying to understand anything, not trying to continue anything, just soft, quiet, natural surrender. And somewhere beyond awareness, your subconscious continues its work. But even that concept now becomes unnecessary, because there is no longer anything to process, only balance, only stillness, only completion. And as you rest here, you may notice something very subtle, a fading of even the sense of time. No beginning, no middle, no end. Only now, only silence, only sleep. And that silence is not empty. It is full of rest, full of calm, full of safety. And now, even these words are no longer holding attention. They are fading too, slowly, softly, completely, like distant echoes disappearing into vast space, like light dimming into night, like everything returning to its origin of stillness. And you are safe, completely supported, completely at rest. And there is nothing left to do now, nothing left to become, nothing left to experience. Only drifting remains, only dissolving remains, only sleep remains. And so you drift now, beyond structure, beyond thought, beyond awareness, into deep, quiet, infinite rest. And now there is nothing left to guide, nothing left to follow, nothing left to hold, because everything has already dissolved into deep rest, and you are no longer listening in the usual way. You are simply being, softly, quietly, naturally, and even that sense of being is becoming lighter now, less defined, less structured, more like drifting awareness than active thought. And as this continues, everything within you remains at ease, not because it is being maintained, but because it no longer needs effort to stay calm. Calm is now the natural state. Rest is now the natural state. Stillness is now the natural state. And somewhere beyond awareness, your subconscious continues to support this state silently, effortlessly, continuously, reinforcing balance, maintaining relaxation, sustaining deep rest, not as action, but as nature. And you do not need to observe it. You do not need to participate in it. You are already part of it. And now, even the idea of now begins to soften, because time is no longer structured in the same way. There is only drifting, only fading, only quiet continuation. And if any part of awareness still remains present, it can gently relax further. There is nothing to stay alert for, nothing to hold on to, nothing to continue. Only letting go. And as you continue letting go, you may notice something very subtle, a feeling that everything is already complete, not ending, but complete, whole, settled. And in that completeness, there is peace, a deep, stable peace that does not change, does not shift, does not require attention. Even these words are no longer separate from silence. They are dissolving into it, softly, slowly, completely, like echoes returning to vast open space, like waves disappearing back into the ocean, like everything becoming quiet again, as it always was beneath everything else. And you are safe, completely supported, completely at rest. And there is nothing left to do now, nothing left to become, nothing left to experience. Only sleep remains, only silence remains, only stillness remains. And so you drift now, beyond structure, beyond awareness, beyond thought, into deep, endless, restful sleep, And now there is nothing left unfolding, nothing left continuing, nothing left to follow, because everything has already settled into stillness, completely, naturally, effortlessly. And even though the experience is fading, the effect of it remains, softly, quietly, deeply, like a gentle imprint of calm, resting within you, without needing attention, and you do not need to hold on to it, because it holds itself, naturally, effortlessly, silently. And now, your awareness may be very far away, or almost absent, or simply drifting without direction, and that is perfectly fine, because there is nothing you need to stay aware of anymore, nothing you need to follow, nothing you need to continue. Only rest remains, only stillness remains, only quiet continuation remains. And even that sense of continuation is becoming softer now, less defined, less structured, more like gentle presence dissolving into silence. And somewhere deep within you, your subconscious continues to maintain this calm state, not as effort, not as work, but as natural balance, a steady return to stillness, a gentle maintenance of peace, a quiet restoration of everything within you. And you do not need to be involved in it. You are already included in it, fully, completely, naturally. And now, even the idea of you begins to feel softer, less active, less separate, more like drifting awareness within calm. And there is no need to hold on to identity, no need to hold on to thought, no need to hold on to anything at all. Only softness remains, only peace remains, only silence remains. And as that silence deepens, everything becomes even quieter than before, even more still than stillness itself. And now, even these words are fading into that silence, not stopping, not ending, just dissolving, slowly, softly, completely, like everything returning to the space it came from, like sound returning to silence, like movement returning to stillness, like everything becoming quiet again, as it always was beneath everything else. And you are safe, completely held, completely at rest. And there is nothing left to do now, nothing left to experience, nothing left to become. Only sleep remains, only silence remains, only deep, endless rest remains. And so you drift now, without effort, without direction, without awareness, into deeper and deeper stillness, where nothing remains but peace. And now, even the sense of direction is gone. There is no more path, no more steps, no more continuation, because everything has already dissolved into complete stillness, and you are no longer moving through anything. You are simply resting within it, softly, completely, naturally. And even the idea of resting begins to fade, because there is nothing left that needs effort anymore, nothing to maintain, nothing to follow, nothing to hold. Only silence remains, only stillness remains, only deep, effortless sleep remains. And now, even awareness itself feels far away, not gone, just distant, like something gently floating beyond reach. And that is perfectly okay, because nothing is required from awareness anymore. Nothing needs to be observed, nothing needs to be understood, nothing needs to be continued. Only letting go. And as that letting go continues, everything within you becomes softer still, not through effort, but through natural dissolution, like tension melting into warmth, like thought dissolving into space, like identity fading into calm. And somewhere beyond everything, your subconscious continues to hold you in perfect balance, silently, steadily, without interruption, maintaining calm, maintaining rest, maintaining deep natural sleep, not as something done, but as something that simply is. And now, even this idea begins to soften, because there is no one left to maintain anything, no one left to guide anything, no one left to experience anything. Only quiet presence remains, only stillness remains, only sleep remains. And as that sleep deepens, even the structure of thought dissolves completely. There are no more words forming, no more awareness tracking anything, no more separation between listener and silence. Only merging, only fading, only deep rest. And now, even these final words are no longer distinct. They are dissolving into the same silence they came from, slowly, softly, completely, like echoes returning to infinite quiet, like everything releasing back into stillness, like nothing remaining except peace. And you are safe, completely held, completely asleep. And there is nothing left to do now, nothing left to follow, nothing left to become. Only sleep remains, only silence remains, only endless, effortless rest remains. And so you drift now, beyond thought, beyond awareness, beyond everything, into deep, infinite sleep. And now there is nothing left unfolding, no structure, no direction, no continuation, because everything has already softened into complete stillness, and you are no longer moving through experience at all. You are simply resting inside it, deeply, quietly, completely. And even the sense of this moment begins to fade now, because there is no longer a boundary between you and rest. Only rest remains, only silence remains, only deep, effortless sleep remains. And now, there is nothing to follow, not even the awareness of following, not even the need to be aware, because everything has returned to its natural state of calm, soft, stable, unchanging. And as that calm deepens, your body becomes even heavier, as if every remaining trace of effort is dissolving into stillness. And your mind follows completely, not thinking, not observing, not holding, just fading, like a quiet light slowly dimming into night. And somewhere beyond awareness, your subconscious continues its gentle work. But even that concept now dissolves, because there is nothing left that needs working on. Only balance remains, only rest remains, only silence remains. And now, even the idea of remaining begins to fade, because there is no separation anymore, no inside, no outside, no beginning, no end, only deep, continuous stillness, without limit, without interruption, without direction. And as you rest here, you may feel everything becoming softer than before, not through change, but through disappearance of resistance. And in that absence of resistance, everything becomes peace, a peace so deep it does not need to be felt. It simply is. And now, even these words are no longer distinct. They are fading into silence, slowly, softly, completely, like echoes returning to infinite space, like movement dissolving into stillness, like everything becoming quiet again, as it always was beneath everything else. And you are safe, completely held, completely asleep. And there is nothing left to do now, nothing left to experience, nothing left to become. Only sleep remains, only silence remains, only infinite rest remains. And so you drift now, beyond awareness, beyond thought, beyond everything, into deep, endless, unbroken sleep. And as you slowly return from this journey, know that this space will always be here for you. Anytime you need rest, anytime your mind feels heavy or your thoughts feel too loud, you can come back here again. There are many more peaceful journeys waiting for you on this channel, each one designed to gently guide you into deeper calm, deeper healing, and deeper sleep. And if this experience has brought you even a little comfort, then you are always welcome here. You can simply stay connected and let this become your quiet place of rest whenever you need it. Now, let go completely and drift into your deepest sleep,